Homosexuality is, in fact, a mental illness.
If we catch you with a homosexual, the rest of your life will be a living hell.
One never knows when the homosexual is about.
This involves showing the gay man pictures of nude males and shocking him with a strong electric current.
What Jimmy didn't know is that Ralph was sick, a sickness of the mind.
I believe that a marriage should be between a man and a woman. No offense to anybody out there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hang on, are you trying to tell me that AIDS is God's punishment for being gay?
Well, of course it is. What else could it be?
Homosexuals will find no solace.
Homosexuality should be outlawed. People should be driven underground and persecuted.
The second you see your son dropping the limp wrist, you walk over there and crack that wrist.
As a Muslim myself, this is something that I'm against.
The sight of two grown men kissing in public, really creepy.
I believe in marriage between a man and a woman.
What do you do? It makes me feel sick.
He was pretty repulsed by gay and lesbianism.
I'm against the teaching of homosexuality to primary school children.
You were made by God to be a male, and you're going to be a male. Male.
We've come a long way since this, yet the world still isn't perfect. It's still filled with hate, ignorance and fear. A large percentage of you now have turned away from looking at this. But what's so different than this compared to a man and a woman kissing, which is more socially accepted? Is it not all love at the end of the day? Ernest Gaines once said, "Why is it that as a culture, we're more comfortable seeing two men holding guns than holding hands?" Is this the kind of message we want to send our children? That if you grow up loving somebody of the same sex, you could be bullied, beaten, or even killed for it?
An openly gay 15-year-old boy named Larry, who was an 8th grader in Oxnard, California, was murdered by a fellow 8th grader named Brandon. Larry was killed because he was gay.
Homosexuality isn't something new. In fact, it dates back to ancient Greece, where the love of one man for another was seen as the highest form of love, and also a normal part of everyday life. Later on, a woman named Sappho was ridiculed for her lesbian feelings, which then spread to England through Christianity. Although Jesus never said anything about homosexuality, around 400 years after his death, a Christian man named Augustine felt that sex was the original sin which got Adam kicked out of the Garden of Eden. Ever since then, sexual pleasure was led to sin in the mind of the Christians, and as having sexual relations with somebody of the same sex wasn't considered as procreation of the species, this too was considered a sin. From the year 1300 to 1861, the punishment for homosexual acts was death, by either being burnt alive or by hanging. It was still illegal up until 1967, when it was decriminalised and seen as a mental illness, which psychiatrists tried and failed to treat up until the 1970s. Since then, homosexuals are still not allowed to get married or give blood, yet have been given the right to freedom, to have a civil partnership and to adopt, although this dark history still hasn't changed some people's views. What's your sexual orientation?
It's gay.
Gay.
I'm gay.
I'm a homosexual. I'm gay.
Why do you think you're gay?
I fancy men.
I feel I'm more comfortable around the male gender and I feel attracted to them.
It's just who I am. I believe it's genetic, like massively. My sister's gay as well.
I've just always been probably more attracted to guys ever since I was like 12, 13.
Well, I don't know. I used to not believe it. It was all within the family. There was a number of us, but now my sister's come out and she's like lesbian now, so.
Have you ever experienced homophobic behaviour?
I was more like left out like a black sheep.
Having eggs thrown at me.
First of all, I couldn't be myself for 23 years of my life.
When I was about 17, 18, and it was a priest. I was living in a homeless unit in Glasgow, and the priest that ran it found that I was gay and beat me up.
When I first started going out, when I was like 18, 19, I went to Wales to see a friend and was at a house party, and his mates didn't know that he was gay, never mind that anyone else was. and like started beating me up, like literally, and all our friends had to like pull him off us.
I've been called names. I've been beaten. I was not accepted by my peers.
Actually, the police up in Glasgow were completely homophobic then.
They asked him to apologise, so he took me outside to apologise, and then tried it on with me, and like tried getting off with me.
I've been out of the closet now. I find I'm more accepted for who I am.
What are some of the names you've been called?
Well, actually, in 3 languages I've been called names, so I could give you a quite good list.
Faggot, gay boy, fudge packer.
Faggot and gay boy. No. Knob jockey.
Puff. Or batty boy.
Pufter, gay boy, AIDS carrier, they go on.
Loved flipping fudge back and all that when I was in school and all that lot. But other than that, it doesn't really bother me. At the end of the day, it's only a name. At the end of the day, I'm proud of who I am.
Do you think gay people will ever be fully accepted?
It's becoming a more well-known thing now, and it's getting more accepted in the workplaces, and people are not that bothered as they used to be like 10, 20 years ago.
Until the moment people will specify themselves as gay, straight, black, white, or whatever, the discrimination will exist. Up to the point the divisions will impact society in such a way like they're happening now, nothing will going to change.
No, I don't think anyone, anywhere in the world, like any community group, will be fully accepted for who they are.
I don't think they'll ever be fully accepted because no one is ever. There's always going to be that small minority that will stick by what they think and stick by what they believe. So,
not in our generation anyway. I think it'll be a long, long time, if ever.
I think in the UK, you know, we've obviously come a long way massively, and other countries as well. But there's so many other countries across the world that are just so far behind.
What would your advice be for gay people who fear coming out?
Don't be scared these days. There's always support out there.
I would say it would be more easy if you told a close mate first and get their opinion on, and it kind of releases the pressure. And then finally, on your own accord, when the time is right, is to tell people. But you can't be forced into it in any way.
I'd say just do it. Like, it's such a nice relief, and it is, you know, it's in the nature of my work. Like, I come across a lot of people that are in the closet, or when I first knew them were in the closet and were scared, and it's just a case of until you take that step, you're never going to truly be able to be yourself.
It's not always as bad as you think it's going to be when you come out. Yeah, thinking about it, it may seem you may be scared to come out, but there's always going to be someone there, one of your friends, one of your relatives, that will be able to help you, and there's always somebody else going through the same situation as you. So just take it in your stride and just build up the confidence to come out to someone really close to you.
The internet, one of the most powerful tools on our planet to this date, used to share and consume information, communicate with others, and gives people the freedom to say whatever they want, which then created a new term called cyberbullying.
Accepting gay people will result in more people being gay.
Does this mean that hanging around with tall people will make you tall?
Gay parents will raise gay children.
Does this mean that straight parents will only raise straight children?
A child should be raised with both male and female parents.
So what about single mums?
Straight marriages are valid because they can produce children.
So does this mean that old and infertile couples shouldn't be allowed to get married either?
God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
According to the Bible, God made everybody.
Being gay isn't natural.
Neither are glasses, wheelchairs, tattoos, piercings, or flying from one country to another. The world is full of contradictions. There's enough hatred in the world without picking on a small minority of people for no reason other than your own insecurities. When the message towards the gay community is so negative and full of hate, so much that these people are killed or want to kill themselves, the message needs to be changed.